Hi, Junior 5 students. How are you? This is your time to study science, as now we'll study lesson 4 from concept 1, unit 3. This is me, Shaimaa Hamdy, and you are watching the Big Sister channel. So, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and press the bell button to get all the notifications. Okay, now we have activity 8 with the title, Types of Aquatic Ecosystems. As we will know the meaning of aquatic now. First, we need to answer these two questions. As first one, oceans are parts of the hydrosphere as they contain fresh water. So what do you think here? Oceans contain fresh water? And this is important to read the question carefully from the beginning to the end of the question, okay? So it's clear that the oceans are a part of hydrosphere, yes, but they contain what? Salt water. So this sentence is wrong. Another question we have, any change happens in the water of an ocean affects the aquatic organisms live in it, and aquatic organisms mean the organisms that live water, okay? As aquatic ecosystems means marine ecosystem. Aquatic organisms means marine organisms, okay? So, any change happens in the water of an ocean affects the aquatic organisms live in it. Is it right or wrong? Yes, it's right. Okay, as anything change in the aquatic ecosystem affects the organisms live in this ecosystem. Okay, now we will talk about water ecosystems. Okay, and this called, as we mentioned, aquatic ecosystem. Okay, and aquatic ecosystems divided into, or we can classify the aquatic ecosystems into two parts, as we have salt water ecosystems and fresh water ecosystems. So we have salt water ecosystems and fresh water ecosystems. Examples for the salt water ecosystems, we have oceans, seas, gulfs, and some lakes. Okay? Saltwater ecosystems, as the ecosystems that contain salt water, it can be even shallow areas or deepest areas, as this area is shallow, has a low level of water, or it has high level of water, as if this area is very deep. Okay? So here, saltwater ecosystem divided into shallow areas and deepest areas. Okay? And we will discuss each one in details. Now, we will talk about the fresh ecosystems. Okay? As we mentioned that aquatic ecosystems are classified into saltwater and fresh water. We know some examples for the fresh water, like what? Yes, as you say now, rivers, most lakes, and groundwater, glaciers, all of these are examples for fresh water. Okay. But here we will talk about the ecosystems. We have ponds and most lakes and flowing water bodies. Okay, as we have ecosystems like lake and ponds that don't flow, okay, the water in it don't flow, and we have flowing water bodies, and we will discuss them all in details. So if this point is clear, we will discuss now the saltwater ecosystems, as oceans and seas, they are the largest saltwater ecosystems that cover large parts of Earth's surface, as we know. these saltwater ecosystems are classified into shallow areas and deepest areas. Shallow areas that has low level of water and they are near the coast. We know the coast. Yes. They contain coral reefs and intertidal zones. You see here, this is a shallow area that contain coral reefs, okay? And these shallow areas contain also intertidal zones. Zones means area, as this area has low tides and high tides. This is the intertidal zone. As if the area appears, so this is at low tide. And if this area is covered with water, so this is, we say that the area disappears at high tide. Okay, as we see here, this is the area at the low tide, so the area appears, okay? The land appears. And in the high tide, as we see here, so it covers with water. This called intertidal zone, as in shallow areas contain coral reefs, as we saw, and intertidal zones. The intertidal zone means what? The area along the coast, okay, that disappears at the high tide, as we saw, covers with water, and appears at the low tide when the water goes back, okay, so this area appears, okay. This is the intertidal zone. This is the features of the shallow areas, contain coral reefs and intertidal zones. What about the deepest areas? The deepest areas are saltwater ecosystems that we can call these deepest areas abyssal zones, okay? And these areas are very deep in the oceans that sunlight can't reach them, this area, okay? So here the deepest area, we call it abyssal zone, and this zone the sunlight cannot reach to it because this area is very deep, okay? Okay, as we see here, this is abyssal zone, as it's very dark because the sunlight cannot reach to this area because it's very deep. As an example, for the salt water, we know that some lakes contain salt water. As what? We have two examples for lakes, like Lake Bardawil in Egypt and Lake Assal in Djibouti. Okay, so we have two examples, Lake Bardawil in Egypt and Lake Assal in Djibouti. We will discuss Lake Assal now. It has high concentration of natural salts, contain natural salts, okay? And with high concentration. What the meaning of concentration? Concentration, as it contains many salt in it, okay? So it is so salty. And this make most of aquatic animals cannot live in this lake because it has high concentration of natural salts, but it has some few plants can grow there and many different types of bacteria live there, okay? So most of animals can't live in this lake, but there are few plants can grow there and many types of bacteria live there, okay? As it is so salty for most fish and aquatic animals to live. That means that many fish and aquatic animals cannot live there. Only few plants can grow there, and many different types of bacteria can live there. Okay? Now we will talk about the freshwater ecosystems, and we will divide the freshwater ecosystems into ponds and most lakes, as most lakes contain fresh water, as we know. Okay? And the second part, which is the flowing water bodies. First, we will talk about the ponds and most lakes. And we have an example, Lake Nasser in Egypt. Okay? In ponds and most lakes, many of them, the water in them present all year. Okay? The water present all year in many of these ponds and lakes. Okay? But some, the water dry up in hot summer month. Okay? So many of them, the water is still as it is, okay, in the pond or the lake. But some of them, the water dry up in hot climate as in summer month. So this is causes what most plants and animals that live there must adapt to changes that happen in their ponds and lakes to survive. As living organisms there adapt to changes that happen in the ponds and lakes, as when they are dried up, so the organisms can survive there. Okay? Okay. Now we will talk about the flowing water bodies. What are the flowing water bodies? As rivers and streams. And we will discuss the word stream now and know the difference between the river and stream. So, river and stream are examples for the flowing water bodies, as the water flow, okay, from the high altitude to low altitude, as we studied before. And this is the opposite of the ponds and lakes, because ponds and lakes don't flow, okay? In rivers and streams, water is always moving, as they are flowing water bodies, okay? And many different plants and animals live in them, okay? Streams are smaller flowing water bodies, as the streams are flowing body which is small. As we see here, this is a stream, okay? It is smaller than the river. It is smaller flowing water body, okay? But here we see the river, okay? There is difference between the stream and river, okay? As the stream is smaller flowing water body. With this, we finished our lesson. I hope the explanation was useful for you. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.